We are live. What's up, everybody? We are back and we are here with the Solar Academy live. We're going to be doing this every Thursday at 8 a.m. PST, 11 a.m. EST. We're going to have the best trainings, best experts throughout the country. And today is no exception. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Panda Appointments, Panda Solar, Panda James. This guy has been such a great influence in the solar industry ever since he's been teaching his secrets of digital door knocking, teaching his secrets of phone setting, teaching his secrets of handling objections over the phone, making quality appointments so that these closers have easier appointments to close. Everybody making more money, and he's one of those people who's not greedy. He takes a little bit at a time and just helps everybody. And today he is doing another big favor and a benefit to the community. He is down to help, and he is going to go over some phone setting secrets and tips and tricks and help and whatever we can do to help the community. So everybody give it up. We got, this is the man, James Panda, Panda Appointments. What's up, Panda?
Yo, good morning. How's it going?
I am great. And I know that you're level toned and you always have that great voice tonality. Is that one of your secrets on the phone?
Yeah, if a customer sees that you're too excited, they're like, okay, how much money are they
Whoa.
making? What's going on?
So, you know what? Real quick, man. I guess not everybody knows who you are yet. You know, you have a great brand, and a lot of people know you in the industry, but some people don't. They're like, "Who's this cartoon character? Who's this panda guy going around everywhere? I don't even know what he's doing." Give us a little quick background of how you got into solar and how you got into digital door knocking and how you got into phone setting.
Yeah, I've been doing solar for the last 6 years. Started off here in Arizona. When I started, it was nice and breezy in January. By June, July, it was burning hot. And I was like, okay, can't do this anymore. So I switched over to making my appointments over the phone. So I just help reps. I teach them how to set their own appointments. We'll even do live calling together, kind of doing it what everybody else doesn't want to do in the industry. Sometimes everybody wants to sell, they want to show off. I'm here just to help. So I switched from being in the commission industry to the service industry, where I can help a rep, kind of hold their hand, teach them how to set appointments, and even working together. And that's what's kind of made my brand, just being willing to help.
Hell yeah. So we're going to have some students join us too. So we got Devin Dickinson going to be in the room hanging
Hello.
out with us. What up, Devin? Can you hear?
I can hear you. How's your
All
day?
right. So if you want to have any questions, jump in. You're part of the crew. So we get access for our Solar Academy members, get access to our rooms so they could be in with us as we're talking. So if you want to join the Solar Academy, be part of our inner circle, be part of our diamond members, go to the solaracademy.com. There's free memberships, free community access. So check it out. Devin is one of them. All right. So let's get into it, Panda. Like, we want to help reps, right? That's the goal. Let's focus on new reps real quick, if that's cool with you. Like,
Yeah, no problem.
what are some ways? Because to me, like, that's one of the biggest, fastest growing parts is people from other industries coming into solar. So, what do you think? What's the best way for new reps to get started in the solar industry?
Well, depending if they're coming on as in person or virtual, they have to have the right expectations. Sometimes when you're leaving a different industry, you have a secure job, you have credit, you have all these type of things. So when you're coming into solar, try it out for a few months. Maybe do it part-time, still keep your safety net. So that way you can decide how active you want to be in solar. Whenever you start a business, sometimes it starts off as a hobby and then it turns into something greater. If after 4 or 5 months you see, well, I'm good at this, but I don't have a lot of time, or I'm struggling with this, it's better for you to still have your safety net and then go into this desperate. A desperate rep will make a homeowner desperate, not telling them the right information, trying to really shove them to get this to go because they really need to make their mortgage payment or they really need to make their car payment. So if you're new, try doing it for a couple hours each day. I enjoy helping new reps where you can just make your appointments with a phone, do it for a couple of hours, and you can figure out, okay, am I going to stick with this? Can I see this as a career instead of just jumping in, just on blind faith.
And setting appointments over the phone is not just for virtual, right? Like even door knockers in home, they're gonna have to be in a situation where they're following up, they're making an appointment, they're confirming. So like this is not just for virtual, right?
Yeah, in person as well. You can still close in person, but if you could sit at home in air conditioner instead of knocking in 200-degree weather, talking to customers while they're not at home, most of the time during the day between 9 and 4, they're not going to be at home, but they'll have their cell phone on them. So I'll show you how to set your appointments, how to grab their information, keep yourself organized, and just be comfortable from home. So when you're talking with the person, you sound comfortable. And that could be one of your lines like, look, I'm not trying to bother you at your door. I'm sitting in air conditioner drinking a coffee. Just want to see if you're open to looking at a quote. When a customer sees that you really don't need them, but you're friendly and want to help, it makes them kind of addicted to want to hear what you have to say. If you're coming off pushy, you're out of breath, you're sweating out of a storm, they want to be out of that situation.
100%. So like what are some tips? So like you're on the phone, you're setting appointments. Like, what are some things like, yeah, anybody can get on the phone and be like, oh, so are you available Wednesday at 7 a.m.? And then they say no. Like, what are some things to make it just an easier conversation and not have the stress of having to deal with a homeowner who doesn't want solar? Like, how do you make this like easier?
So it's all starting in your first 3 seconds. So when you're calling the homeowner, you never really want to ask permission to talk. If their name is Megan, you would just say, hi, Megan, in a question tone, instead of, hi, can I speak with Megan, please? When you come off like that, they already know, okay, they're going to sell something, or what bill do I owe, or what did I forget about? But now if it's just, hey, Megan, it just sounds really friendly. When they answer, you always want to just identify yourself as a person. Never identify yourself as a company. If you say, hey, this is James with Infinity Energy, how are you today? Click. They weren't prepared to talk with Infinity Energy. They didn't know who they are. They don't know anything about them, but everybody knows people. So we're all independent reps. So we want to advertise as ourselves. So I would recommend just saying, hey, Megan, this is James. How have you been? How have you been sounds a lot better than how are you? How are you means crap. They're going to sell me something. Here we go. Here's another solar guy, or here's another alarm guy, whatever it is. But if it's how have you been, like, oh, where do I know you from? And when they say, oh, I'm doing good, who is this again? Oh, this is James. Not sure if you remember me. We've been helping the area upgrade to solar. I sent out a few flyers to the home. I'm just following up. Have you guys looked at any quotes yet? So now you get to just distinguish, do they want to look at a quote? Are they interested? If you used a brand name and they didn't like that brand, or they were mad that that brand is calling them, you've shot your chance of just being a human with them. If they do have interest and they ask you, which company are you with, still advertise yourself. I'm an independent rep. I have the options to show you multiple financing options. I want to make sure I have the best fit for you. The first step is just to see if solar is going to make sense altogether. I can help you do a analysis of your electric bill and see if it's going to make sense. What's a good time that we could chat for a couple hours, and I can show you some options for your home. So now they're sold on the idea of meeting directly with you. It's easier to get the bill because they know what they're expecting. They're not overwhelmed by a big company, because even though we might work for one, we ourselves are just an individual. So that will help your conversation to stay more neutral. Even if they're not interested, you won't find a lot of mad people because it's not a company calling them, it's just a person.
And it's not like you're changing your lines. It's not like you're coming up with different phrases. Like you're saying the same lines every single time, saying consistent, so that you're finding the homeowners who match what you're looking for, as opposed to just looking for anybody. Is that you saying the same things over and over again, or are you changing it up depending on who you're talking to?
It's the same thing. Only thing I'll change is if someone is really pushy and they're like, oh, what do you want? Then I'll change it to, oh, I was just doing a follow-up call. I've sent out a few flyers. We've helped out the neighbor go solar, just checking to see if you've looked at any quotes yet. I'll kind of match their tone. If they're in a rush, I'll be in a rush. And when they give you an objection, kind of make up a reason why they wouldn't be interested. If they say, no, I'm not interested. Okay, no problem. Sounds like you've looked at a bunch of quotes so far. What have you seen so far? Trying to get them to open up and tell me why they don't want to do solar. Is it because they're just in a bad mood, or do they not have good credit, or are they moving soon? Try to figure it out. But if they give you the same response, nope, just not interested, then they're not willing to talk. Move on to the next person. Okay, sounds good. Have a great day. In this whole aspect, the most important person on the phone call is going to be yourself. You're going to be doing this for 2, 3, 4 hours a day. You're never going to talk with that person again, probably. You're going to talk with them for 20 seconds and they're going to be gone. So you don't want to stress yourself out or piss yourself off from that one person, because there's 20 other people that are coming up next that you can talk to, and they might just be in a better mood. So you want to protect your mental state first.
I love that. Too many people stress out over getting every single person to say yes and trying to convince every single homeowner. But we were talking a little bit beforehand, and the goal is not to convince every single person, right? Because if you really believe in your product, you'll know you won't worry about the people who don't not interested. You're gonna focus on the people who are interested, right? Just real quick, I watched this YouTube video, and it was this guy who was giving out ounces of gold on the streets for free, just giving it out right here. Who wants it? Ounces of gold. Who wants it? And people were like treating him like garbage. They were like, "Ew, get away from me!" Like asking like he was going to murder them or something. And he was just giving them free gold. So like that tells you something. And he felt great about it though. He didn't feel like hurt or discouraged. He felt great because he knew he had so much value he was offering, and that people didn't want it. It was their problem. It was their mistake. Now he could just worry about giving it to the next person who's actually interested, who actually is paying attention, right? So it's
Yep.
that mindset of actually believing in what you have, how much value you have, makes it so much easier to sell and talk to people out there, right?
Yeah. It's just about being consistent. We kind of have to see solar as a meal. If you go to Texas Roadhouse, you go to Red Lobster, wherever you go, no matter how good that meal is, it's only going to feed you for so long. So no matter how good that solar deal is, even if it's 4, 5, 6 grand, it's not going to feed you all month. So sometimes a rep is really starving, really focusing on that one deal. So you want to see it as, okay, I just want to help one family to go solar today. So that if someone's not in the mood to be helped, you're finding someone else. If we look at the numbers mathematically, if we could just help one person to go solar each day, we would have 7 sales in a week, 30 sales in a month, and over 300 in a year, just being an individual. If we made our numbers more realistic and said, okay, I'm going to still look for that one person, give myself 30 opportunities a month, and let's say I can only close half of them, that's still 15 installs a month, over 180 installs for the year. There's a lot of reps that don't even have 10 installs for a whole year. So we kind of have to change our outlook as not how much money I could make off this one sale, is how many families can I help? And then that's how you're keeping yourself consistent and kind of keeping your attitude.
I love that. Hey, there's a few other students here. I want to just bring it in real quick. We got Devin, Jesse, and Wayne. And these members are Diamond members. All you have to do is pay $97 a month for the Solar Academy, and you get to come in the room in here, go watch all the recordings from SolarCon, from all the trainings from before, every week. It's the lab, everything's in there. So I want to let you guys know, if you have a question, raise your hand. Or you guys are be the ones that get to ask the questions, engage, jump in. So definitely take care of the opportunity. I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room, but I can see you. So turn your camera on, raise your hand if you have a question. I'll get you in. Okay. All right, guys. So Panda. Now I want to make sure we're giving everybody a value what they came for. And a lot of people are here to get those secrets, those things you're doing, right? That you're getting people to get excited. And part of that is those opening lines. Like that's how you get people hooked, right? Like that hook where you get people to listen in and stay on the phone. You get an extra 5 seconds, an extra 5 seconds, but that first 5 seconds is the most important, right? What are some of your opening lines? What are some of your secrets that you're using on the phone to get people hooked?
Well, first we'll start from a technology aspect. Some of us are stuck on an auto dialer all day. And so when you're stuck on an auto dialer, you're not as prepared for the phone call. You're just kind of just waiting for the next one. So each of my calls are a manual dial, just doing a manual dial. And then once they pick up, able to start talking with them. So I use a free service called Text Now. It's a great tool. It's free to use. They actually use their own cell towers through T-Mobile or Sprint, so that when the call connects, it automatically goes through. Sometimes using a lot of these other third-party services, there's some lag. So the customer may say, hello, 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 and you finally hear it, and then it's all off course. It doesn't feel natural. They know that you're selling something. So just in being able to get to the call live helps me out a lot, because once they say hello, they start talking. When they say hello, Hi, Jim. Yeah, this is James. How have you been? It makes it seem like I know the guy. And my goal is to sound like I'm just doing a few phone calls on my lunch break real quick. I don't want to sound like my job is to do phone calls. I'm just coming off it really natural and just trying to be friendly with the customer. A lot of times, oh yeah, I remember you. Sorry about that. We've been really busy. So that's one thing that will help is doing a manual dial. Yes, it may be more efficient to dial 10 numbers at a time, but sometimes more than 10 people answer at the same time and a couple people are put on hold. So then they automatically know, okay, I'm going to be sold something. So the whole dynamic changes before you even get to say one word. So that really helps me out a lot, just being able to win over the conversation, being friendly with them. And so once they confirm their name, yeah, this is Jim. Oh, this is James. I'm not sure if you remember me. We sent out a flyer a few months ago. We're helping the area upgrade to solar. You may have tossed it, although with the other junk mail. Have you guys looked at any quotes yet? So we're trying to reference something that they know. So even if we haven't sent out flyers ourselves, they have received flyers from someone. Just like when you're door knocking, you say, hey, we helped out a few neighbors go solar. Those few neighbors may be a few streets down, but you've done it. So they're going to remember seeing some type of flyers or remember hearing about the radio station, seeing solar at their school. So now you're giving their brain something to hold on to. So while you're talking, they're mainly just thinking about remembering all the flyers they went through or people that went through their door. So they may ask you, oh, did you guys already give us a quote? Or did you guys email that over to me? At this point, you want to be as honest as possible and just repeat your line. No, so far, all I've done is sent out a flyer to the home. I haven't had a chance to show you a proposal yet. What have you looked at so far? Now the customer is excited, like, oh, great. They're not the last company that gave me the high quote. They're new. Let me see what information they have. So now they're on the same page, knowing that we're talking about solar, and you get to automatically distinguish yourself as someone new. So you're giving them something old to kind of hold on to, but now you're giving them new information, getting them to be won over with you.
I think you have to repeat part of that because I think it was so much gold that people just like missed it. Okay, guys, listen. Text now. Use it. Okay. Can you explain what text now is really quick? Because I might have went over some people's head.
So TextNow is a free calling service. It's powered through T-Mobile and Sprint. It's free. What they do is they take old landline numbers that were disconnected and they reactivate them as wireless numbers. So you can pick a local number to your area, and it's most of the time it's not going to be registered as spam. If the customer has a setting on their phone that they block all spam calls that aren't in their text log or in their library, then that might be a different story. But it's just going to ring as a regular number. So if you need a Vegas number, grab a Vegas number. If you need Massachusetts, grab Massachusetts. So it's giving them something to look forward to. And then you can have voicemail saved on it. You can do text messages. You can do gifts, and it's all free. There is ads like everything else. So if you decided that you wanted to go ad free, I think it's like $6 a week, and you can have no ads. You can use this number for Facebook. You could use it for Google retrieval. So it's an actual registered verified number. But the nice thing is when you dial from it, it doesn't link to you. They don't ask for any type of personal information. They just want an email address and a passcode. This is really good. Sometimes there are people that are not fond of phone calls or they're on the do not call list. So if that accidentally comes up, they don't have a way to trace this call back to you. And the scripting really protects you as well too. We haven't said a company name. We haven't offered a service. Only thing I'm asking is, hey, have you guys looked at any quotes or have you guys put any thought to going solar? If their response is negative, then I need to move on. But if they're curious, they have some questions, now we're just having a natural phone conversation. I wasn't presenting you a product. I was just asking you a question. So just like during election times, you might get those random phone calls like, who are you voting for? Can we get your vote on this? You can't go and sue them because they're just asking information out of you. It's your choice to be on that phone call or not. That's kind of like with the position we're taking in solar. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't even know if your home's going to qualify. I just want to see if you're open to looking at the numbers. So it's just like walking around Costco with your solar shirt on and you're in the chicken aisle and someone says, oh, you do solar? Yeah, I do solar. Have you been looking into it? That person can't say, hey, you were soliciting me. It's like, nope, I was just answering one of your questions. So that's all we're doing on the phone. It's just trying to ask some questions, see if we can make a friend real quick.
I love that. And you said something else, and I think this is one of the things you really hit home with me when you said, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Not using a dialer. Okay. And it makes sense when you say that because like when I get a phone call and as soon as a 4 second delay, I'm
Yep.
gone. If I'm waiting 2 seconds to wait to hear from somebody, I'm like, 3 seconds, I am gone, right? Like my head is gone. So that totally made me think maybe I shouldn't be using dialers and just doing these manual phone calls. Have you actually tested this? But it makes total sense to me. But have you actually tested it? Have you tried dialers and noticed it didn't work and then tried manual and you noticed the difference? And what is the difference? Can you go a little more depth with that?
Yeah, sometimes on a trading call, a rep is really persistent to use their dialer. So it's like, okay, I'll log in, I'll do it. And it just feels like homework. It feels like I'm stuck in a call center in India, and it just doesn't feel fun. You're waiting for information to pop onto the screen, and sometimes there's a delay with that. You don't know what's coming, and sometimes you're just sitting there waiting for 5 6 minutes because the auto dialer's job is to just get someone to pick up. But if it dials 5 or 6 people at the same time and those same pick up, there's got to be a delay that's there. So, and then with the auto dialer, since the information is already preloaded, let's say that there's 3,000 numbers that's saved in this auto dialer. But out of those 3,000, only 800 of them are actual good numbers. And it's dialing 10 of them at a time. They're receiving a phone call almost every 3 hours from a random number, and they're already irritated. So it's just already just kind of setting yourself up for failure, and you don't know what you're dealing with. You could be dealing with an 80-year-old in a retirement home. You could be dealing with a renter. So another secret that I'm using is I'm pre-selecting which houses I go after. In the class, I'll show you how to pick out homes, just see good roof sizes, confirm age, see equity, see who's on title, how long they've been in the home, how much they have left on it, active cell phone numbers. So you're actually confident in what you're calling. You can actually see. It's like hunting in the dark with a grenade. You can throw it and maybe you'll hit something, but you're usually just gonna make a bunch of noise and scare everything off. So now I can just be in the shadows with the sniper and get what I want. So that's a lot of the secrets, is kind of the back end work of not just making the phone call, but knowing what you're doing.
I love that. What's up, everybody? We're here with Panda Appointments, James Panda, doing the Solar Academy live. We have some students here live. You're going to be able to ask questions. If you guys want to join the Solar Academy, go to thesolaracademy.com and be part of the group. Wayne Skinner. So just real quick, Wayne, before you go, what do you guys think? Should we do some objection handling? Do you guys want to see Panda overcome some objections? Go put it in the comments. Any emoji. Go put in the comments any emoji if you want to see some Panda overcome some objections. All right, Wayne Skinner, throw it at him.
Yeah, man, Panda. Got a quick question, bro. You mentioned the auto dialer dialing multiple numbers at once. Have you noticed a difference if you, because I have a group of people dialing, right? So I think that for an individual, that other app makes a ton of sense, but I really want to use, I'm one of those weird adamant guys that wants to use a dialer because I can record the calls and I can use it for training and everything else. But if we went from, dialing 10, 5, 3, whatever at once down to just dialing one at a time, are we going to be able to eliminate some of the things you were saying?
Another thing you have to take into consideration is the phone number that's being used. A lot of those numbers come from Trulio. They only last for like 6 days until they get marked as spam. So even doing it as an individual dial, if they see possible spam risks, they're probably not going to answer it. The cell tower is going to be more efficient than an IP address. And then for the average person that's doing solar, they really don't care about recording their calls unless you have a team that you're being paid hourly, where you're putting up front money, not based on results. But the average rep is just working for themselves. They really don't need to record their calls. They're just trying to make sales. So a call center aspect could be a lot different. If you're paying a weekly salary to someone to be on the phone, then you're going to, of course, you want to monitor them, go over KPIs and stuff. But for the average rep that's just working by themselves, there's no hourly wage, they work for themselves. They just want to set the appointment and make the appointment. So the less time that you can spend on the phone as possible is better. If you're spending just an hour or two a day, get a couple appointments, go close them, that's what the average rep wants. But running a whole call center could be different if you're having to pay a weekly salary and make sure people are saying what they need to say. But if it's someone that's just commission only, or they're just trying to sustain themselves, those tools really aren't necessary.
Yeah, I totally get that. 1,000%. It makes sense that for the individual person, what you're talking about makes a ton of sense. I was just curious if we went down to just dialing ones, and yeah, of course it's Twilio, but we register them so they don't show up as spam. We go through the
Right.
registration process. Um, but I wondered if going down to just dialing one at a time would eliminate some of those pauses and things like Joe was talking about. Like, is that gonna help? I was just curious. I had never even thought about it until you guys mentioned it. So that's huge.
Yeah, you can try it and then also see where the data is coming from. So when I show in the class, you can see their age, you can see their demographics. If someone is like 80 years old and they're living on Social Security, no matter how good you are on the phone, it's not going to go anywhere. So kind of the analogy I like to use, if you're trying to make cake, you have to use cake mix. If you're using potting soil, no matter what other tools you add to that potting soil, it's never going to be cake. It's just going to be crap. So we kind of have to start from the beginning. Who are we talking to? What neighborhoods are we in? Are the permits fast in that area? Is there an HOA that's aggressive? So I like to just look at the homes and see, okay, do I see a bunch of solar that's here? If I don't see a bunch of solar, then it must be a bunch of rentals or it might be a new idea. Customers really don't like being the first to do anything. So if I can go to an area where there's already a few solar systems on the street, I know that it's a good area, probably gets knocked all the time, I'm gonna have a better chance of actually talking about solar. I'm looking for someone that's 98% sold and I got to push them the other 2%. I don't want to take them 98% from 2%. So if you can stack your auto dialer with that information, you'll have a better response. But sometimes a lot
He'll be back. Don't worry.
of time with the wrong demographics. So it's kind of important to know who you're contacting first and what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, sounds great, man. I agree. Thanks.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Wayne. Appreciate it. So, Panda, we got a question. Like I said, the students, you have questions, raise your hand. If you guys want to be more part of the group and be part of the engaging conversation, come on in to the solaracademy.com. You get to be part of the circle. But we have a question in the audience. I think it was a good one, and I want to bring it up here from YouTube. Kane O's Life. I think I said that right. He asked you, why choose to be anonymous, Panda?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's not because I'm shy, just trying to be the best teacher available. So when I do phone calls, I'm usually on the phone for 8 to 10 hours a day helping reps. There could be a time where I'm tired or have an expression on my face like I don't care. If they see that, they're not going to be motivated. And when we're doing these calls with a customer, they can't see us either. So the only thing we can win them over with is our voice until we actually meet with them in person or meet with them on Zoom. So they know nothing about us. They don't know if we're there to harm them or there to scam them, what we're there to do. So that's why I remain anonymous, kind of putting myself in the same situation that a customer's with. A rep doesn't know if I'm going to show up or if I'm going to help them or if I'm even real. But when I do show up and they see the reputation, they have appointments, they're excited. Now that kind of gives them more push, like, okay, I can do this too. I trusted him. I get a customer to trust me. I get reps to make payments without even knowing who I am, to do calls with me. If we can make that confidence with each other as sales reps, then it'll be a lot easier to display that kind of empathy with the customer. So I just do it to try to be the best trainer available.
And when you're speaking on the phone, you can't see them anyway, right? If you're a
Yep.
phone trainer, it kind of makes sense. I
Yeah,
like it. I like it.
it's been a niche, so I've just stuck with it. Sometimes I've offered opportunities to go to remote islands and be a speaker at this, and I have all these opportunities. It sounds cool, but it's like I don't want to give up my brand.
No, I get it, man. And I'm like that biggest person that's trying to get you out there. I'm a big fan of yours and I love getting your training out there. And speaking of over the phone, part of the phone these days is texting. I don't hear you talking about texting too much. So I wanted to ask you, like, are you utilizing texting? Jesse, I see you. You're coming up next. Are you utilizing texting or is there something you just stay away from?
No, text now, you can text as well. It's a great tool for when someone doesn't answer. A lot of people, if they're busy, they're gonna not answer their phone or they're gonna try to screen them. So I can do the same thing with text when they don't answer and I got their voicemail. Hi, Megan, question mark. She can respond back to me and say, yes, this is Megan. Who's this? This is James. How have you been? When she responds, I'm doing good, but I don't recognize the number. Yeah, not sure if you remember me. We've been collecting energy statements in your area. We're helping homeowners determine if solar was a good fit for their home. Have you guys looked at any quotes or have you guys thought about it? And if she says, yeah, we have been thinking about it, we're just really busy. At that point, you're trying to get them back on the phone. Not very many times will you get a solid appointment just from texting. So you might try to set up a time where you guys can actually talk. Say, okay, Well, I know that you were busy. Is there a time that we can chat for a quick 10 minutes? I can give you some information on solar, see if it makes sense for you. Yeah, I'll be home tonight at 6 or 7. Okay, I'll give you a call around 6 or 7. Same number, I'll help you out. So now they kind of prepared for the phone call. If they go straight into it, like, yes, give me a quote, you have to think nothing in life is that easy. So sometimes when it's really the appointment seems really easy, they're just trying to spoof you. Oh, give me your company information, give me your website, and I'll check it out. And sometimes because we're so excited, we give them everything, but they were just trying to use that information to spoof us or trying to make a complaint with the company because they've gotten so many phone calls from every other company. So you always want to defer back to let me get you on the phone and see if you actually want to look at it. If they don't actually want to get into a phone conversation with you and talk about it, they were probably just spoofing you. If it just sounds too easy, like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad you called. Yes, I would like a solar quote right now. What company are you with? Can you give me your email address and your company business and your phone number? They're there just to spoof someone trying to make an easy buck off of suing you. So that's another good reason of using text now is that you're not able to share your identity that way.
I get it. Love it. All right. So we got a student coming on in, Jesse L. Sunforge Energy. What's up, Jesse?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Not bad. Go ahead. Shoot it.
Awesome.
Shoot at us.
Yeah, so I have kind of a technical question about text now. I've been using it a lot, and I run into something where it will seemingly kind of randomly drop the number that I'm using if I don't use it in just a few days. Sometimes, one time I had it hold it for about a month. Are you familiar with that? And what is your advice on avoiding it from dropping your number?
Yeah, if there's not activity after like 3 or 4 days, they're going to release it. It's a popular service where they're constantly going through numbers. So if an account isn't being used, they're going to surrender that number and give it to someone else. So I'd recommend just using it every day if you can, even if it's just texting yourself. If you don't want to worry about that, if you purchase a number, I think it's like $5, it gives you the rights to that number forever, and you don't have to worry about it. So when you get the ad-free version without ads, it automatically assigns you that number and it never disappears. So that might be another way to get around it.
Okay, and if you did do that, do you know if you can change the number? Because I work in more than one area, and it's always nice to have an area code that's in the area I'm working in. But if I do jump between areas, is there a way to change that even if you purchase the number?
So you can only have one number per account, like every 15 days, but you can have as many accounts as you want. So if you have like 5 or 6 email addresses, you could make a number for each one. So like you could have an email account just for Florida, an email account just for California, and just switch between your accounts. So if you're signed into all those Google accounts on your phone, all you do is just click sign in on which account that is. So just kind of keeping it memorized, which one is that. You can label your email as you could put it as Florida number at gmail.com. So you know which one to click on to use that number and just kind of keep up with them.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesse. If you guys, students, have a question, just raise your hand. I'll get you in. And we're going to have some objection handling coming up soon, guys. So be ready for that. Before we were talking to Panda, you're talking about using Google Calendar as a kind of a way to track homeowners and a free tool. I think that's really awesome. I love free tools where like you don't need anything to start with. But even though like you can get other tools, you still use Google Calendar. Can you talk about how you use it and how reps should use it?
Yeah, a lot of times people want a CRM tool for automation, kind of keep track with things. But if you're going after quality appointments, no one's going to have 1,000 appointments to manage. If you just have like 2 or 3 people that are solid, it's going to be easy to manage them. So I just recommend Google Calendar. So if you talk with someone and they say, yeah, this sounds really good. I'm actually working right now. Can you call me back Thursday at 5? Sure, I'll call you back Thursday at 5. In all honesty, if you're not on my calendar, I'll forget about you by lunchtime. What's your email address? I'll send you out a reminder for Friday. That way, if anything changes, we can just notify each other internally. If they send you their email address or they write it out for you, it means that they're really interested in talking with you. And then they'll get a notification an hour before that scheduled time. Hey, reminder, you have a call with James, the solar guy, at 5:30. Are you going to be attending? Does this work for you? They can send a message and say, hey, can we do 6:30 instead? So it kind of gives them a nice friendly reminder internally without you having to chase them. And it's a free tool. And then I also use Google Maps for all of my CRM tool as well. I show you in the class that you can make pins on a home. You can look at the direction of the roof. You can see if they have trees. You can see if they have solar already. And then on these pins, you can put notes. This is where we can save their phone numbers. This is where we can save notes, keep organized everything we've done, all within inside Google Maps. So I'm not here to bash on anybody's tools. There's a million ways to cut a cake, but this is just a way that's always worked for me, and that's what I've just stuck with. And then the nice thing about Google, it's private to yourself. No one else can see it. The problem sometimes with a lot of tools is they're after your data. Have you noticed that when you make an appointment and you put in all their information, you put in their address, their phone number, their email, and you upload a picture of the bill, after you've done that appointment, within like 4 or 5 days, the customer is being bothered about other quotes. Hey, I can beat your quote. Hey, I can do this. It's not because the customer is searching. It's because the engine where you put in your information is now selling that data. So I'm not saying who is and who isn't, but it's a possibility. But if you have everything saved inside of Google, you don't have to worry about that. It's private locked. So for a new rep, not having to compete with someone that's been in the industry for 10 years trying to snipe your deal and just keeping it private to yourself, that's going to make things more efficient. Because once you impress a customer, human nature is not to say, let me try to find someone else. It's, oh, I like this guy, let's do it. But if someone comes presenting themselves to them, why wouldn't they want to look at it? So you can kind of keep yourself out of that game if you keep everything private instead of Google. I can show you guys how to do it.
And just to make sure, I say is that, it is a little bit of a conspiracy theory, and not every CRM is selling all of our data. I just want to make sure I throw that out there. But I'm sure there's a rare few where there's thieves out there, there's bad people out there, but the majority are not selling any data from what I know. And if you're interested in the CRM, check out Brent Attaway's crmxpro.com, and you'll get a great CRM that's going to take care of your data. But you want to throw it out there. You're not saying every CRM, you're saying that I'm sure there's going to be 1 or 2 bad apples, right, Panda?
Yeah, it's a chance that it could happen. So not everything is bad out there. But just for a new rep that's kind of worried about it, this kind of gives you peace of mind. So like I said, not bashing any CRM tools. Sure, there's some great ones out there, but this just gives you an alternative if you don't want to use them.
Speaking of, I love FU money. Speaking of follow-up, now this is also great for follow-up, right? But like, what are some like your lines you use when you're following up like aged leads, aged data? Like you haven't talked to this homeowner in 6 months and now you want to give them a call and wake it up again. What are some of those lines you like to use, or is there anything different, or is it just the same things you're using when you're talking to a fresh lead?
Yeah, the same thing. They probably received a flyer. They've thought about it. If you know where your leads came from, if they came from Facebook, you could just say, hey, Bill, this is James. We talked a few months ago on Facebook about looking into solar. We both kind of got busy. Did you guys ever end up going solar, looking at a quote? So it feels like customer service. It feels like you're just following up with them, and they can kind of give you the reason why. And that's one of the tools that I show you guys too, is sometimes when people fill out these lead forms, they put in the wrong number, either on accident or on purpose. So in my training, I can just show you how to kind of look up their information and find their right number. If everyone's been calling a dead number for the last 2 years and they never got a hold of anybody, now that we have a real one, it's like, surprise, found your number. I know you're interested in solar. You haven't done it yet. Let's get moving. So that could help you to revive a lot of your dead leads too.
Hell yeah. I mean, you're dropping so much value. I want to get some objections in here. I'm going to bring some of the students in here. If your camera is on, I'll bring you in. We're going to do some objection handling. Before we do that, Panda, do you have any other tips in your back pocket for setting appointments over the phone? It could be tonality. It could be like maybe using a meme or using some kind of line. You have any tips, like just setting a good quality appointment over the phone so the closer has a great chance of closing the appointment?
And so the first thing we want to do on an appointment is we want to sell them on the idea of meeting with us. So we want to let them know the correct expectation of what we're expecting and what they should be expecting. So my button-up line after someone shows interest is, okay, glad that you want to look at solar, happy to help you. My job is to help you get solar installed on the roof. The first step is see if solar makes sense for you financially. We're going to do a comparison of your current electric bill to what you're currently spending. If we see that this makes sense for you to go solar, I can show you multiple finance options for your home. What is a good time that we can chat for a couple of hours, and I can help you get your paperwork started. So they know the purpose of this meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to go solar and get paperwork done, not to do a free energy saving analysis, not to see if they're qualified for a federal rebate program. It's like, no, I'm here to help you to go solar. So being upfront with them, they will be upfront with you. Yeah, I understand. I just can't do that right now. My credit is locked. We're doing a refinance in the home. So that's a situation, not an objection. It's like, okay, so you can't really do anything on the home. I'm sure your wife is in that same situation as well. So I understand you guys can't look at solar, but would you be open to me showing it to you? And then I can talk to you about my referral program. I offer $1,000 for anyone that goes solar because of your recommendation. Some of my best customers don't have solar on their roof either. So if you guys can't go solar right now, I'd still like to be business partners with you, and maybe we can help some friends and family. And when the credit lock is done in the future, then I can help you out. So always showing the customer that you're more concerned about business than just trying to shove something down their throat. If that customer doesn't go solar, but they give you 5 or 6 referrals and now you guys are friends, when they are ready to go solar, who are they going to deal with? They're going to deal with you because you've been giving them cash. You've been building up relationships. Ask them what they do as a business. Tell them, hey, I'm always looking to work with local companies. Usually I give a gift card to my customers for going solar. I try to do something they like McDonald's or Starbucks. But what do you do locally? Maybe we can work together. Oh, you work at a hair salon? Okay. Do you guys do any gift cards? Do you need any vouchers? Maybe I can use you as a reward system instead of McDonald's. So now you built a relationship. Yes, no solar's on the roof, but now you have a relationship that leads to more solar going on other people's roofs. So my best advice would be always come in with the mindset that you want to have business, but it doesn't have to be business from the person that you're talking from. So then you can still make more relationships. Don't burn the bridge just because they can't go solar or they haven't seen value in it yet, but they'll see value in $1,000 payments or promoting their business too.
Love that. This is James Panda Solar Appointments. We are live with the Solar Academy. We're going to be doing this every week. If you want to join the Diamond members, join part of the crew, go to thesolaracademy.com. So quickly before we go to objections, handling objections over the phone is going to be probably like super important, right? Like you have to be able to go handle it and practice it over and over again. How, like, is that a big part of your game, is being able to know the objection and handle it and know exactly what to say?
Yeah, just knowing that there's only like 4 or 5 things they're going to say. Either not interested, I'm going to be moving soon, my brother didn't like it, or I'm planning on selling my home soon, or I don't see the value in it. If they're willing to talk, it means that they have some interest. If they're really just not interested, they're going to repeat themselves. They're going to say, nope, just don't want to do it. Nope, just don't want to do it. But if they start giving you reasons why, it means that they've looked into it. And so far, what they found, this is the choice they've done. So what I will do is just give them a reason to allow them to kind of walk away and say, okay, sounds like you looked at a bunch of quotes so far. How many have you looked at so far? What have you seen so far? Did you look at a lease or a purchase? Then if they haven't looked at anything, they're like, well, I really haven't got that far. Okay. Well, if you're open to it, I can show you some information. People really like going solar just because they can have a consistent price. You can blast your AC as much as you want to. Usually in the world of comfort, we're used to spending more to be more comfortable. Solar is the one aspect where you can spend less and have more comfortability. What does the electric bill usually look like for you? So if you're talking with them, always in your statement with a question. Once you just give a statement and there's dead air, then the conversation's over. So every time I talk about something, I ask them another question. So they're thinking about my statement and they're thinking how to answer my question, kind of give and take. It's like, okay, oh, the bill is around 200. Do you guys have 1 air conditioner or 2? It doesn't really matter, but it gets them talking about their energy. Do you guys did you get an electric vehicle anytime soon? Or are you guys gonna get a hot tub or anything like that? Trying to think of, is their power going to change? So that way, if we're going to be helping them with solar, giving them a battery or helping them to have extra power for the grid, kind of get them thinking about the future, because that's how solar is kind of sold. You're putting 25 years of savings on a silver platter and they jump. So for them not to look at this as monthly or short term, thinking about the long term, because they're going to be in their house for a while. So those kind of things will help them guide along to think about the goal picture.
All right. I love that. So I think this is a perfect segue to objection handling. So I got like 50 objections on the right side of my screen. I'm just going to randomly throw them at you. There was one in the comments. So I'll start with that one first and then go from there. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Let's go. And students, if you have one you want to ask, raise your hand. I'll get you in. All right, here we go. First one. Objection. I can't afford to go solar. So thanks, Panda.
Okay, totally understand. This would just replace your current electric bill. What does that bill usually look like for you?
It's like, not bad. $150 a month. I've been doing it for a long time. I keep doing it.
Okay. So is that 150 during the summer too, or just during the winter?
150 is like springtime.
Okay. So it sounds like you wouldn't need a huge system. The benefit is your price wouldn't stay the same, wouldn't change. So imagine if you could buy gas back from 2005 and you still had that price now, would you be pretty happy?
Hell yeah.
So that's what solar would do for you. It gives you a consistent price. You're probably wondering, why is it free or why is it zero out of pocket? Just to be honest with you, nothing is free. In all honesty, the banks just want your business. They're offering you a 25-year price protection so you can be their customer for the next 25 years. So they include all these services in your total loan cost so they can gain you as a customer. If you had to pay a bunch of deposits to be part of their services, a lot of people wouldn't do it. So if you're open to it, I can show you some numbers and see if it makes sense. If it doesn't, I can always talk to you about referrals. There's always ways that we can benefit from solar. What does your schedule look like for this weekend?
Oh, I got a few minutes right now. Great job. I love that. All right, let's go to the next one. And go ahead, guys. If you have any objections you want to handle, let me know. Students, so if you want to have access like our Solar Academy students, go to the solaracademy.com, get diamond membership. You be part of the crew, but there's also free memberships that doesn't cost anything. Just be part of the community. Check it out today. All right. So we got this one coming up. Objection. Hey, thanks for the time, but you're like the 10th solar person to call me this week. What's going on?
Well, the secret is you have an amazing roof. You have a lot of exposure on the back of your roof. You probably heard that a bunch. Have you looked into any of those 10 quotes, or how far did you get?
I'm just sick and tired of it. I hang up on them. I'm talking to you more than anybody else.
Yeah. So in all honesty, when I'm looking for customers to talk to, if they have solar on the roof, I'm not calling them. So kind of the best way to remove those calls is going solar. Just kidding. But would you be open to seeing if those numbers make sense for you?
I don't know. I got to think about it, man.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want you just thinking about it without any information. The first step is just to see if the home qualifies and see if you're going to be seeing any savings. If we come to the decision that it's just not going to make sense for you, at least we found out. But we also offer a referral program. So if solar doesn't work for you, maybe it works for one of your friends and family, and we can offer you cash for working together.
How much cash?
Usually $1,000 each customer. How many friends and family do you have?
I got a lot. All right. You just keep the conversation going. I can see what you do. You just keep asking the little questions, keep the conversation going. It's perfect. All right. Here we go. We got another one. I'll get a little bit harder here. I heard that it's going to make it really hard to sell my house. So I don't want to get into complications, man.
Yeah, I totally understand. If you are doing a lease option, it may be a little bit tough if you're planning on selling soon. But if you're going to be in your house for a while, if you have solar in your home, it makes your home more equipped to house an electric vehicle. So with this market, probably if you decide to leave your home, you're probably going to rent it out. So if you can rent out a home that already has functions ready for an electric vehicle, your home is going to rent a lot faster. When are you planning on selling the home? Do you have a game plan in mind?
I wasn't really, planning on selling. I was just thinking if I did sell it, it's going to make it harder to sell.
Yeah, and everybody's going to be looking for different stuff. Some people don't want a pool. Some people do want a pool. So if someone's not looking for solar, they just wouldn't look at your house. But someone that wants solar, your house is going to look a lot better than your neighbor's house. So if you're open to it, we can help you with some savings. A lot of your savings is going to be happening in the first year when you're looking at a tax credit or looking at the upgrades that you can do to your home. I can show you the numbers and we can figure out if this will make sense.
But I never even heard of your company. Who are you? What company is that?
Well, the nice thing about working with me is I'm an independent rep, so I can work with multiple finance companies. I want to make sure you're taken care of. So not every company is good for each customer. So if we look at the price and it's something that you don't like, I could find another price for you. You're not just stuck with one option.
See, that sounds great, but I'm actually working on my kitchen and I got a lot of other projects I'm working on. So this is just not my priority right now.
Yeah, totally understand. If you have a bunch of contractors in the house, they're probably using a lot more electricity than they use. Unfortunately, contractors don't bring their electricity with them. So you might be seeing a higher electric bill right now. Most of our work can all be done virtually looking at the roof, so really don't have to crowd your space. Just really need about an hour or two of your time to see if solar is going to make sense. When you have those new appliances in the home, it'll be nice to make sure they're covered with solar if you want.
Actually, it makes sense. I was actually looking into it before, but my wife was like, "No way, I'm putting those ugly panels on my roof." So how am I gonna overcome that, man?
Yeah, I totally understand. Solar panels have changed a lot over the years. The typical solar panel is a old blue colored underwear checkered pattern, so it looks kind of weird. You have a great south facing roof where we can put them all in the back. A lot of times when you see solar, it might be on the front of someone's house. It might be kind of weird looking. So I understand where you're coming from, but you have a great roof that we can hide it in the back and just be a totally flat black panel. If you like, I can talk with you and your wife, see if this makes sense for you guys.
My wife. Oh, my wife is to be there? No, forget it. If my wife is to be there, just forget this whole thing.
Yeah, I want to talk with both of you. She may spend more time at home than you do. So our goal is to go solar. Our time is valuable, your time is valuable. So if she's not able to be there for the meeting, maybe we can find a time where she is available, or just give me a call back when you're ready, because making this decision without her, I don't have enough room on my couch for you.
That's pretty funny. But guess what? I have no time. Like, how am I gonna have time to sit there for? I know how you're gonna take. You're gonna keep, I'll keep me on the phone till I buy. Like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, I totally understand. We do have an option for virtual appointments where we could talk with you on a Saturday or Sunday. And then also, I can send you a gift card. Do you like Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks better? Maybe while we're on our virtual meeting, we can both have coffee together, make it something fun. This is something that's going to affect you for the next 25 years. So it's worth it to look at it to see if it's going to make sense. So I can make it worth your while.
Starbucks.
What's your email
All right,
address?
go ahead, Jesse.
All right. Well, this all sounds great, Panda. Can you just send me a quote?
Yeah, I can definitely send you some information. I will need your email address. What's your email address?
It is how's
Okay,
that?
awesome. Okay, have your email address. So I will need a copy of your electric bill, just make sure I'm not blowing up your house. Are you able to send me a copy of that bill so we can start working on this?
Sure.
Awesome. And no shot at your intelligence, but I'm sure that if you were going to go solar just by looking at numbers, you would have done it already. So if you like, we can schedule a time. We can look at solar, see if this makes sense. I can answer any questions. My goal is for you to get solar installed on the roof. If
Oh,
you were
okay.
going to, so we can schedule a few times to look at this. Maybe it takes about an hour or two with your wife present to see if this makes sense.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Jesse.
So kind of what happens is once they agree to giving that email address over, we're kind of in the spot where they're going to keep on going. If they really didn't want anything, they wouldn't have even given the email address. So it just kind of gives you a way to kind of keep on pushing.
All right. Sometimes you get those homeowners are like just being assholes. Excuse my language, right? They're just like, "What do you want? You leave me alone. Why you call me again?" Blah blah. What do you do with those people? It's just like just annoying, and just that it's going to be an annoying conversation.
If it starts out from the beginning, if I just say, "Hi, Megan," and she says, "What do you want? Who is this?" If she's coming off aggressive, sometimes I'm just going to bail out. Are you still selling those Craigslist puppies, or do I have the wrong number? What are you talking about? Okay, I must have the wrong number. I got to go. Since I have another number ready for me right around the corner, if she's coming off really aggressive, then it probably doesn't matter. Let me just make sure this is a mistake and just move on.
All right. What if the homeowner, like, as soon as you call them, you say, like, literally, you don't even get a word out, and they're like, click. What do? You call them right back? Do you just like, I get the next one?
You can send a text and just say, "Hey, we were disconnected. I don't know if it was my side or your side, but we've been helping the area look at solar. Did you guys look at any quotes?" And then if they say no again by text, okay, it's over with. Move on to the next one.
Panda is crushing it. We're gonna do a couple more objections. This is James Panda Solar Appointments live with the Solar Academy. All right. How about those people are just like insane and they're just like spreading misinformation and they're like, solar is a scam and you're ruining our industry. What do you say when people like start off with that solar is a scam attitude? Same thing as a homeowner like being an asshole.
Are we talking about a homeowner or just a random person, internet troll?
Let's say it's a actual person you're calling as a the age data or cold call.
You just want to be empathetic. Hey, I totally understand. Just like the car industry, there is a lot of lemons out there. I try to do my best to help everybody out. Have you seen any quotes, or what have you seen so far? So just trying to kind of empathize with them. Yes, there are bad companies out there. I'm not one of them. If you want to look at it, I can help you. If not, sorry, got to go.
Bro, you're getting so many comments. Panda's the goat. You're getting animals everywhere. 100, 100. People are just like, Loving it. All right. So we only have a couple minutes left. And I wanted to try to get as much value to the audience as possible. If your students have any questions, let me know. I have a couple more objections because Panda's killing it. All right. So what about this one? Objection. I already have solar and I still have a big bill left over. So I don't want to keep doing this.
So you're talking to someone and they already have solar?
Yeah, but they have a huge electricity bill still. Like they have a small system. They're not covering all their electricity. They can use another system pretty much.
Well, if it's California, I really won't mess with it since NIM 3, if I put them into a new system, it's going to take them out of NIM 2. So I would just tell them, hey, so I apologize about that. If you have another resident that you want to look at solar, I can help you. Or contact your current provider. Maybe there's something that can be done to do a system check for you.
All right. So what if you got one just like, in the middle, like, okay, cool. That sounds good. But I don't want to make an appointment. I just want to think about it. Like, how do you handle those people who's not really ready set, but they're still good candidates?
Yeah, I understand you want to think about it. I wouldn't expect you to make a decision just randomly over the phone. I like to give you some information to think about. Would you be open to looking at the numbers together?
Perfect. And then you get the homeowner says like the information from their neighbors. Oh, my neighbor already told me about this. They said they got 2 bills now after they went solar. Why would I want 2 bills?
Yeah, like I said, every company is different. I didn't help out your neighbor. I'm sure you guys don't drive the same car either. You guys don't have the same wife, so you wouldn't make the same decisions that he has. But if you want to look at an independent choice, I can show you, see if it makes sense for you individually.
All right, last 2. I'll let you go, Panda. I promise. I appreciate your time today, man. The homeowners who are interested, but they're hear those 25-year agreements and long term, like they're like, I don't want to be stuck in no long term contract.
Yeah, so the contract is for your protection, that you have a guaranteed price for the next 25 years, but there's no prepayment penalty. You can pay it off whenever you want to. So if you win the lottery in the next couple of months or years, you could pay off your solar system. After a few on-time payments, you're going to be offered to refinance. You can do different things. So the contract, as long as you want to make it, unless you were just paying cash today, then there's no contract.
You're in a contract no matter what, right? All right, here we go. Last one, everybody. Drum roll, please. Boom. Objection. There's no ROI on this investment. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I totally understand. That makes sense. If you are paying for your system full out, it might take you 7 to 8 years to recoup those funds. But what 90% of our customers do is they're paying it monthly, just like you're paying your electric bill monthly. So there is no ROI because there's no investment going through. If you had to put a down payment through, that would make sense. So I can show you multiple options, a lease or a purchase or finance, to see what's going to help you out the best. In your opinion, is the electric bill pretty high or is it pretty manageable?
I don't like it, but I have to pay it, right?
Yeah, so is that bill like over 200 a month, or what are you usually looking at?
Oh man, it's gone to like 400 in the summer, man. It's insane.
Okay. Yeah, so that money is better in your pocket. So I can show you how going solar is going to help you and help the utility. The utility company is not the bad guy in this. They just have more responsibility than us. They have to power the whole state. You just have to power your own home. So they make it really simple for you to go solar. They have an application for it. They even use solar themselves. So we can kind of get you away from those changes, and it helps them out as well too, if you're willing to look at it.
Beautiful. All right. One last one. I promise. Last one. This is the bonus one for everybody because this is something you'll hear when you're cold calling. So what if the homeowner says, how'd you get my information?
If you're sticking with the script, like I said, I sent the flyer to the home. I sent it to 2525 East Elm Street. Is that still you? Okay, you may have tossed my flyer. It was a big blue one talking about solar savings. We've helped a few neighbors go solar. Just want to make sure I didn't look over you. Have you guys looked at any quotes yet?
Perfect. See, everybody, he knows exactly what he's going to say, exactly what the objections are. He's expecting these objections so he can handle it. Thank you so much, Panda. This has been an amazing training, amazing value for the audience. And I want to throw one thing real quick for everybody if they don't know. You do an amazing service where you're actually getting on the phone with reps, making appointments with them, charging a little bit for that, but then only getting a referral reward if they close. I think that's really amazing value. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we offer a service. It's called a Panda Party Package, where we'll go through and grab all of your data that you want to work on. We'll find the information all through free resources. The first hour of the training will show you how to do it yourself if you want to do it, but we'll go through and grab all of your information, make sure they're south-facing roofs under 65, a good cell phone number that'll ring, go to voicemail, and then we'll do calls with you. The 10-hour package is $600, and that includes 10 hours of dialing, grabbing all of your data. And then any appointments that turn into a sale is just a flat $1,000 at M2. And then there's a 20-hour package. That one's $1,000, the same $1,000 at M2. So it's a small amount. I do that just so I can consistently help. $1,000 is awesome, but it's even better when you get multiple of them. So I keep my prices really low. So I'm focused on helping the rep instead of just focused on a commission. It makes me more confident on the phone. It makes me more friendly, less pushy, because I'm not trying to get my whole week to be successful off of one call. If they want it or they don't, move on to the next one. So it makes it easier for the closer to go in and say, okay, they were nice on the phone. Now we're going to be nice with them in person.
Bro, that's perfect. And I really appreciate you. We're going to get you in the Golden Rolodex in the Solar Academy so people will find you easy. If you guys haven't connected with them on social media, how can they find you on social media, Panda?
Panda solar appointments. You'll see a picture of Panda and a solar panel, or solar advice page. I run that one as well. So just message me. You've probably seen a bunch of my videos or tips and tricks out there. So you can find me out there.
Really appreciate your time today. That's James Panda appointments with the training, setting appointments over the phone. This has been the Solar Academy Live. Thanks to all the students being here live. If you want to join the Solar Academy, free memberships all the way to joining the inner circle. Go to thesolaracademy.com today, baby. Let's go. Panda, thank you so much, bro. We're out.
Thanks for having me, man.
Peace.